Today we're looking at Chicago 5 from 1972. Released on July 10th, 1972. It's 10 songs, 45 minutes, produced by James William Guercio. Again, so far he's done all of them. What's the deal with this one? Robert Lamb has 8 of the 10 songs. James Pankow has one song, Now That You've Gone, and Terry Kath has only one called Alma Mater. It's the final song on the album. And the regular crew of 8 is back, including Robert, Terry, Danny, Peter, James, Lee, and Walter. And they're all on their regular instruments. So Chicago 5. It doesn't even have a 5 on it. It just says Chicago. And you've got a wooden, I don't know if it's wood paneling or what that is, but it looks like it's carved out really well. Kind of cool, actually. On the back side, you've got a big knot here, and then you got the names of the tracks. And there's 10 tracks. Then there's some bonus tracks. This is a 2002, from Rhino Records. You know, back then they were signing new contracts with artists and remastering, and then they would include some bonus tracks, and that's what you got here. For the purposes of this review, I'll only just cover the 10, and we'll stick it with that. Let's see, what I looked for the name of the artist that did this. I couldn't find it, so I didn't look very hard, but I dug around a little bit, and I'd like to know who did this one. If you knew, you could just leave a comment. That'd be cool. Chicago is let me tell you something. Chicago is such a refreshing change of pace from Pink Floyd, ELP, Rush. This album in particular moves between jazz. It slips into big band moments, prog rock. There's even one song that you could describe as a ballad. And there's a lot of pop on here too. So they're just kind of moving all around. And yeah, that's a pretty good intro, right? Let's get right into it. The first song is track 1. It's called A Hit by Varese. Or I should correct myself and say Varese. After Edgar Varese. It's 4 minutes and 55 seconds. It's a fast tempo and edgy song. And this is, I would call it prog rock, jazz fusion. A hit by Varese. It's in the key of C minor according to Chordify, and sheetmusicplus.com agree, which is good. It's always good when they agree. I don't have the sheet music for Chicago, so I have to do some digging around to find it. But I do like looking at the sheet music when I'm listening to the songs, which is fun for me. It's 172 beats per minute, which is really fast tempo, and you can feel it. And it's at a 3/4 time signature, and you can feel that too right away. It's like a fast waltz, like dun dun da 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 da. That's kind of how it goes. The verse is, "Please won't you sing me, thing that will bring me right into the sky." Is what Robert Lamb does when he's singing the song. It's 16 bars, and then there's an instrumental part of the song that runs from 1 minute and 30 seconds to 3 minutes and 57 seconds, and that so over 2 minutes and 20 seconds. When it comes back into the intro music, the dot 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 dot. That's 2 minutes and 27 seconds of just jazz jamming, mainly between the lead melody of the trumpet and the saxophone changing back and forth for 2 minutes and 27 seconds. And it's just a really cool, fast start to the album. Probably my favorite song on the album, which is always a little bit disappointing. I like when the first song is a song that I like, but when the first song is the best song on the album, then you don't have a lot to look forward to going through. But, this album holds up. So a hit by Varese is the song arrangement is a verse, that instrumental, and then a final verse. The second track is called All Is Well. It's 3 minutes and 49 seconds. And this song starts with a light mellow feel to it, with Robert Lamb singing lead in the chorus. But it's really a vocal harmony of the band and the verses, which is backwards when you think about it. But that's what makes this song unique, okay? It's in the key of F minor, and there's a lot of D flats in there when you look at the chords. It's 107 beats per minute. It's in 6/4 time, which is weird because you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The verses are in 6/4, and the choruses are in 4/4 time. The verse is when Robert Lamb, well, okay, it's the whole group singing the verse. So they're singing "All is well again." I think I'm gonna be all right. It's 5 bars in 6/4 time, and then the chorus is just Robert Lamb singing. There was a time when I thought I was fooling myself, and it's a 12-bar chorus with some time changes in there, but it was manageable to count for me. And there's an instrumental to this song also. That's the third part of the song, and this is a brass led one again. But it's like it's the I think they're all playing honestly. Um, James and James and William and I'm having a moment. Walter and Lee. Anyway, it's the brass lead is 1 minute 21 seconds to 2 minutes and 34 seconds. So about a minute and 13 seconds of jamming. And this song arrangement is verse, verse, chorus, instrumental, verse, chorus. And what's nice about Chicago is they don't ever repeat the same song structure ever. Every song is really different. At least within an album it is. I should never use the word never because inevitably, yes, there will be repeated and someone will catch me. Track 3 is called Now That You've Gone. It's 5 minutes and 6 seconds on Chicago 5. This is the song that's written by Pankow, and it's lead vocals by Terry Kath, which is cool. It starts with a drum introduction for about 12 seconds, then the guitar and the bass join in, and it has a very jazzy feel to it, which is often it's an indicator that it's a Pankow song because he's really turns up the jazz big time. It's in the key of F minor, so it's a somber. Whenever you have a F minor modal key, just tells you what the mood of the song is going to be like. And if you didn't know, I mean, Now That You've Gone, it's a pretty somber title. It's 120 minutes, 120 beats per minute in 3/4 time. And the verse is take a closer look inside yourself. And it's an 18-bar verse, pretty long. And then the break is 1 minute and 12 to 1 minute 31. There's a couple breaks in this song. I'll get to the other one in a second. That's the first break. It's just very short. And it's really just a break in between the verse and the chorus. The chorus is Still I Can Recall the Happy Times. It's 16 bars, but the tempo's changed a little bit here. Then we get to the second break, which is a longer one. It's 1 minute and 55 seconds to 3 minutes and 14 seconds. And the trumpet plays the lead solo. And then around 2 minutes and 40 seconds, it switches to 6/8 time or cut time for a couple of measures. And then it goes back to 3/4 time. So it's like it's one of those interesting breaks that you hear in Chicago songs where you allow for some solo, you allow for some time changes to switch it up, and then it goes right back to where it was, and then it finishes out. There's an outro to the song, which is a saxophone solo that starts around 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And so what's cool about this song, you got the trumpet solo, you got a jam, you got a saxophone solo at the end. And the song structure and arrangement for this one is a verse, that short break in between the chorus, and then that longer break with the trumpet solo, chorus, and then the outro, which is the saxophone solo. Track 4 and 5, let's just do them together because it's dialogue part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is 2 minutes and 58 seconds. The lead vocals are by Terry Kath, and this is a Robert Lamb song again. And Peter Cetera, what they're doing is Terry and Peter are literally having a conversation with each other. And this song starts with a guitar introduction. And then, let's see what else. It's in the key of D major. It's 100 beats per minute, and it's in 4/4 time. And when you listen to it, the first part of the conversation is like 54 bars. Excuse me. And it's just, Terry Kath and Peter, they're talking about all the problems that are going on in America, and just imagine what America's like in the early 70s. And in fact, one of the lines that they say is, "I hope the president da 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 da," like they're singing that they hope that the president is aware of what's going on, which I think is kind of funny, but they were really into social issues. Okay, and then after the 54 bars of conversation at the beginning, which is like one real long running verse, when there's a second verse that starts with "Thank you for the talk," and that part is about 8 bars, and then it moves seamlessly into the next track, which is track 5, dialogue, part 2, and that is 4 minutes and 14 seconds, and it starts with this big thumping, stomping intro like bum 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 bum, and it's in the key of D major, 100 beats per minute in 4/4 time, and that intro lasts from like for 1 minute and 11 seconds, 1 minute 11. The first verse is "We can save the world now, we can save the world now," and it's 5 bars, and then there's a guitar solo. It's about 21 seconds. It runs from 159 to 220, and you can it's one of those Terry Kath. It's a real one of those kinds, but it's mixed, so it's not like on top of the music. And then there's a brass spot from 2 minutes and 20 seconds to 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And then there's another second brass spot that comes up after that from 256 to 322. And then it goes into the outro. The outro is "We can make it happen. We can save the world now." It does that. They just keep repeating it until the end of the song from 322 to 414 or whatever. So about 50 seconds. And that's dialogue part 2. And what's cool is I saw these guys play last year. They came to Wisconsin, and they played dialogue part 1 and part 2 together, and that was pretty interesting actually. Track 6 is "While the City Sleeps." It's 357, and it's lead vocals by Lamb, and Lamb is the author of the song, and it's key of G minor, so another somber, the city sleeping, and it's a minor somber sounding song. It's in 4/4 time. It's got a fast tempo though, 150. And the verse, this is the whole verse. "While the city sleeps, men are scheming new ways to kill us and tell us dirty lies." It's just, after you hear dialogue and then you have a song like this, it's kind of I don't know, what kind of a feeling do you guys get when you hear that? It's definitely, the album's taken on a negative tone, even though dialogue ends in a hopeful "we can change the world now" sort of way. It goes right back to negativity. Anyway, the verse is 11 bars, switching between 4/4, 3/4, and 2/4 time. And there's a long jam in this song. It starts at 145-ish it goes to 3 minutes and 12 seconds. It's the lead guitar is featured, but it's mixed in the middle again of the drums and the brass. And the brass seems to be on top of everything, even though it's a big jam, and you can really hear Terry Kath. Anyway, "While the City Sleeps" is a verse, jam, verse. That's the song. Track 7 is "Saturday in the Park." It's 4 minutes long exactly, which is perfect because this is a pop song and it's perfect for radio play. Some lines are sung like lead vocals by Robert Lamb. Some are Peter, although there's very few Peter lines, but there are some where he's like responding back. And then some of the lines, it's both of them, and that's usually after Peter has sung his line. And this is a fairly famous song. I used to hear this on WOZZ in Green Bay back in the day, and when that was a real thing. And this is also a yacht rock song. I heard this on New Year's Eve when I was listening to the Yacht Rock channel. At New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2023. Pretty big day. I heard this song, and I heard "Southern Cross" by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. It's going to be a memorable day for the rest of my life. Anyway, it's "Saturday in the Park," C major, pop song, 115 beats per minute, pop song, 4/4 time, pop song. The verse is "Saturday in the Park." I think it was the 4th of July. Beep. It's a 14-bar verse. But I skipped over the intro. It's like, the chorus is, I don't know if I can say this, "E compari savo sonari." "Hey buddy, what's that sound?" is the translation from Italian. "Can you dig it?" "Yes, I can. I've been waiting such a long time for Saturday. It's an 8-bar chorus. It's a cool chorus. It is cool. The bridge is slow motion riders fly the colors of the day. A bronze man still can tell stories of his own way. It's a 12-bar bridge. And then and then after the bridge, it goes like the song restarts again with the intro, so that I could just see Robert Lamb playing it, on his keyboard. It's 2 minutes and 32 seconds to 2 minutes and 48 section. And so the nice, perfect song arrangement to get it to 4 minutes is the intro, verse, chorus, bridge, replay the intro, verse, chorus, and that's the tune. So after a somber beginning of the middle of the CD, you got the pop song Saturday in the Park, and then you got track 8, which is State of the Union. It's 6 minutes and 10 seconds, and lead vocals by Peter. It's a Robert Lamb tune again, and this is the one that's ba-dum boom ba-da ba ba-dum boom ba-da da. It's a big bass line. I like Peter Cetera's bass playing. This track is in the key of E major. It's 164 beats per minute, really fast tempo, again, in 4/4 time. The verse, Peter is singing, I was talking about the State of the Union, how there's no one now in power who's thinking of me. It's a 16-bar verse. And then the chorus is, then a voice called from out in the darkness saying, tear the system down. Jeez. It's 12 bars. I don't, when I'm listening to Chicago, I don't like sit there and dig into the lyrics and think, I don't really give it a lot of thought. I think I'm listening to jazz. But when you read it out loud like that, it is quite striking what they're singing about. Tear the system down. 1972. Okay. There's in State of the Union, there's an instrumental 1 minute 51 seconds to 3:58. The trumpet is in the lead, like a solo, for about 2 minutes and 7 seconds. And then the final part of the song is the outro. Oh, we ain't gonna let you tear it down. At least it has a happy ending. And it starts around 4 minutes and 50 seconds and goes to the end, that outro. So State of the Union is a verse, chorus, instrumental, verse, chorus, outro. That's actually a pretty common song structure when you think about it, for State of the Union. Track 9 is Goodbye, 6 minutes and 7 seconds, a lead vocal by Peter Cetera. And this is another Robert Lamb song, key of G minor. There's 2 flats, and when you look at the sheet music, there's minor chords all over it. The chorus is in F minor, so it switches from G minor to F minor. It's 176 beats per minute and 7/4 time. The intro, it's a real brass-led introduction for about 1:16 seconds. And then the verse comes in, flying high, touch the sky, going to places I never knew, for 17 bars. And then there's a break, which is more like a trumpet solo. It's 1:55 seconds to 3:39. And then after that, it's like a trumpet sax duet. And there's the whole break is about 1 minute and 34 seconds. The chorus feels so good to be soaring because LA was so boring. It's in 4/4 time. And so that's the big switch, right, is the chorus from the verse. It switches from 7/4 to 4/4, and it's 6 bars plus 1 or 2 phrase jam plus 6 bars. So that's the chorus. Like, the chorus is interrupted by a jam for, 8 bars or something like that. The outro is the Peter singing, the days and the nights have gone dry, the last 3 whole years have flashed by. And that's Goodbye. It's a verse chorus with a break, and then in between the verse. Very weird song structure, right? Verse, break, chorus. The chorus has a break in the middle of it, and then the outro. That's Goodbye. Finally, we get to track 10, is the closing track on Chicago 5. It's called Alma Mater. It's 3 minutes and 54 seconds. It's a Terry Kath song, and Terry Kath takes on lead vocals. And this is the biggest change up on the album, because this isn't jazz. It's not pop. It's not prog. If anything, it's like a big ballad song, like a depressing love song almost. And It's a pretty interesting number, actually. Key of G major is the first verse, and then the second verse is in A major. And it's very slow tempo. It's in 4/4 time. And the verse, I'll just give you a sample of the first verse. By the way, the first verse is different from the other three. Looking back a few short years when we made our plans and played the cards, it's an 8 bar. It's an 8 bar first verse. And Terry's just like, it's just like he's real emotional. He doesn't have his big Ray Charles voice going, although he's always kind of got a Ray Charles-ish voice, but he's just plowing through. Verses 2, 3, and 4 are all 12 bars. Like, I wouldn't describe them as 12-bar blues, but it's different from the first verse, put it that way. It's just a different song that is really quite a dramatic change up from the rest of the album, especially when, this album, let's get right into the summary. The alma mater's 4 verses. When you think about this album and what it is, first of all, it's one disc, which Chicago 1, 2, and 3 were like great big mammoth 2-disc, 2-album collections. Like if you were buying it on vinyl in the 70s, you were getting 2. It was a double discer. This one's much shorter, so it's much easier to listen to, but it's kind of all over the place, where the first 3 are really jazz, fusion, prog rock, a little bit of pop, but it's mainly that stuff. This one's kind of all over. This one's got it's got the big prog rock song at the beginning. It's got a lot of jazz incorporated by Panko, and then you've got these poppy elements coming into it, and then you've got this last song on the album, and it's a big ballad love song. And in the mood of this album is all over the place. It starts out fast and happy and frantic, and then you've got these powerful songs, and then you got like a happy song, and then you got like these really socially, we're challenging the times, and it's just a different album, really. But it's Chicago, Chicago's grown on me. Let's see, what else can we say? The sales, it's sold a lot. 2 million, over 2 million, and it's for Chicago, it's number 5. It's the 5th best-selling Chicago record. It's number 10 for 1972. It's sold a lot. It's a big, probably because of Saturday in the Park. I'm sure a lot of people bought it just so they could hear that, but it is good to listen to. I like listening to this one. It's not as good as the first 3. And of course, 4 is the Carnegie Hall one, which, I'll save for it. If I ever get around to doing live albums, I'll cover that one. But, this one's really different from 1, 2, and 3. Let's just leave it at that. Okay. ProgArchives.com gives it a 3.4, and, I think that's okay. AllMusic.com, 4 stars. I think it's somewhere in between that. And Rolling Stone didn't even bother to rank it. Rolling Stone. Okay, that's it. Chicago 5. I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. I really like the first song. And I like the State of the Union. I like the big thumping bass. Okay, what's next up on the channel? Yes, Close to the Edge, which I'm gonna love writing up. And then after that, Dark Side of the Moon, which will also be fun to write up. All right. Thanks, guys. See ya. Leave a comment. Hit the like button. Like and subscribe.